real quick, let's talk. I'm going to expand on this after the story. My one grandfather, I think there were 12 of them, kids that is, in his family. It's the same one you all have heard about with the knife and how he grew up in D.C. in the railroad yards. Um, Italian, uh, back then in the times of the neighborhoods of the Italians, the Irish, the blacks, the Jewish, you name it. There was a. I'm going to touch on a couple of stories kind of quick. I'm not going to go fully into them. There was one time where he was in school and the teacher accused him of talking and making a nuisance. And my grandfather stood up for himself. He says, "No, ma'am, I was not doing that." And she kept berating him until he finally said, "I'm leaving." And she says, "You're not going anywhere." Now, this school that he was in, or at least the classroom, was on a second story. So, when my grandfather had his mind made up, he was leaving. So, after the teacher pretty much blockaded the door, he went over to the window and said, "I'm out." And he jumped. And he left that day. My grandfather used to leave school quite often, and sometimes town, to go take care of his little brother. And there was one time they put him on a farm because he couldn't stay put. And the farmer caught him leaving. And he said, "Where are you going?" This is where my grandfather wanted. He experienced something that he hadn't experienced before. So the farmer told him, he said, "Where are you go?" Or asked him, "Where are you going?" He says, "I got to go check on my brother." And he says, "Well, if they catch you on the road, they're going to pick you up and bring you back." He says, "I'm not worried about that." He says, "I got to go take care of my little brother." And the farmer said, "Well, have you eaten yet?" He said, "No." He said, "Well, come over here real quick." And the farmer went over into the garden patch and they both took some tomatoes and some onions. And the farmer gave him, I think it was like a half a loaf of bread. I don't really remember particularly. And he said, "Here, take this. Do what you got to do." So my grandfather left. And he got picked up a couple of times, but always left to go take care of his little brother. Um, Even at a young age, I envy him, even though I shouldn't. Maybe I should say I am admiring of him for being so young and having a sense of duty and loyalty that it didn't matter. It didn't matter how big you are. It didn't matter what you were up against. You had a goal and you were going to see it through. And he did. When that man set his mind to something, there was no one getting in his way. Um, that was where he also said, he says that was actually the day that he said, when that farmer was so kind to him, he said that was the day I knew when I was older I would own a farm. And this is inner city street tough. They didn't come much tougher. But he said he wanted to do it because he could help people. And I think we can all take from that story. I think we're all going to take a lot of different things when we hear that. But I'm sure after a few of the stories that I've told in previous, you will get an idea of the kind of character that my grandfather was, or one of my grandfathers were. Maybe next time I'll come up with a story about the other side, because there are a few over there too. But with that being said, I want to give a shout out to the Kilted Texan. Thank you. Your recent live stream, I caught it on the later end of it. It was a very good video. Thank you, thank you for sharing and being who you are. If you do not already know about him, head on over to the Kilted Texan. He's a good dude. I think he is. But with that being said, many blessings, and no matter what gets slapped on your plate, either eat it or throw the plate back in the chef's face. You get the picture.